Can you imagine if you had to try to watch a video where the subject was doing this all the time and you're trying to watch them and stay focused on what they're doing? Could you imagine that? No, you can't imagine that. You don't want to imagine that. It would be terrible. And yet, sometimes we punish our viewers with exactly that. And I know that is never our purpose or intent. This video is, I hope, going to be fun, and I hope it will help you to grasp what we need to do to present what we offer at the Rock of Central Florida with a step more excellence. And understanding that none of us are professionals. You'll hear me say that again momentarily, but we can learn. So let's take all the information that we've received over these last years that we've streamed. Let's put it all together. Let's figure out what we've done right, what we've done wrong, and let's point out a few things that I believe we can improve upon. Because this, and this, and this, and this, and back and forth is really never a good view. Here we go. Enjoy the video. Well, that was fun. I enjoyed making that little intro clip, and hopefully it has captured your attention so that we can do a few things that are kind of fun here. I brought a prop with me today, my Samsung TV frame that I'll be using as my friend during these next few minutes that share some points with you today. So I want to start by saying thank you. Thank you so much for all of you that in any way volunteer for the audio and the video team and all that you do. None of us are professionals. We just learn as we go. But hopefully, as we learn things that we can do to improve, we make those improvements. And that's why I'm here today. There's some things that I've observed that we could improve upon, and so I want to help you to make sure that we all know exactly what we're doing when we get in that sound booth and we get behind that camera, what it is that we need to focus on. And I've tried to make that super easy today. Instead of throwing things in a loop, tried to make it really easy by simplifying the process and giving you 3 points to remember. If you can remember these 3 points, every time you get behind that camera, all of our live streams, all of our videos will be consistent and will be a blessing to the person who is viewing on the other side. Because when we don't do these 3 things, it always ends in a distraction. You don't want to be distracted. I don't want to be distracted. And that person watching on the other side of that lens doesn't want to be distracted. Because if they are, they'll tune us out. And we don't want that. We believe we have a message we want to get to them. So let's jump right in. So first of all, I want to again remind you that I'm going to give you 3 points today that are really easy to remember, and it's called this: the 3 F's of videography, or the 3 F's of filming. And the 3 F's stand for this. Number 1, focus. Number 2, frame. And number 3, freeze. Focus, frame, and freeze. So let's dive in. So point number 1, we want to focus on the subject. Point number 1, we are focusing on the subject, whatever that subject is. Now, as you look at me and this screen today and you see space around me, for the most part, I'm centered. I don't have anybody behind the camera that can change the view, so I had to do it the best I could. But for the most part, I'm centered. Things are the way they should be. There's not too much space to the right, to the left, or above, but I'm centered. So when I focus on the subject, I want to make sure that while I'm in the frame, that you can see me clearly. You don't want the subject that you're trying to listen to or watch to be the one that is blurry. We don't like blurry. Blurry. No to blurry. And while we depend on autofocus on our camera, it just doesn't always work. Sometimes you've got something to the right or to the left or in front of you, and the camera wants to grab hold of that and focus on that. But nobody wants to see the monitor or the podium or the microphone. They want to see the person who is talking. So always be aware when you're focusing that though we might be using autofocus, it just might not capture the subject in focus the way that we want it to. So always be aware of that. Point number 2. Frame the subject. We're going to frame the subject. And I brought my fun little frame that I made to help you understand what I'm talking about. And I tried to leave room in the camera so that I could get it all in here. But what do I mean by frame the subject? The top of the subject, which in this case is the top of my head, I'm the subject. The top of the subject should be near the top of the frame. The picture frame, the viewing window that people are going to be seeing. So the top of the subject should be near that. That's what we want. Right here, this is just right. I'm in the center. I'm not too far this way. I'm not too far that way. I'm not like this where you can't see part of my head. I'm not right here where it looks like I'm looking over a cliff or I'm peeking over the screen. We don't want that. Those are no-nos. What we want is we want to focus and frame the subject, the focused subject, right in the center of the frame. Straight. The frame is straight. It's not crooked this way. It's not tilted this way. It's not off. It's not to the right or the left, up or down. We want to frame the subject. So point number 2, frame your focused subject so he fills or she fills the screen and the people who are watching are concentrating on them, not what's around them. Point number 3, freeze the subject. Freeze the subject. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, and this is something that's really easy to do. It's easy to get distracted. When I'm preaching, I know I move around a lot, so I don't make it easy on everybody. So I'm moving over here and you're trying to catch up. I'm moving over there, you're trying to catch up. But for the most part, when someone is standing still, freezing the subject means, number 1, don't zoom in and out on a live camera. Let's say this is the live camera. What you don't want to do, and you saw what I did in the intro video where I was showing myself going in and out. You don't want that. It's a distraction. We don't want to distract people. We want to help them learn. So when we zoom in and out, we start losing them. So the live camera, you should be frozen in that. The subject should be frozen. You shouldn't be moving it around, trying to adjust a live camera. No adjustments on the live camera, in and out, up and down, zooming in and out. That should not happen when the camera is live. All the adjustments should be made on the cameras. We have 3 cameras. All the adjustments should be made on the 2 cameras that are not live. On those cameras, get your subject right where you want them, the size you want them, in focus, and then go live. And it's ready, and it's good to go, and it looks amazing when you do that. So remember, again, you're going to focus on the subject, you're going to frame the subject, and you are going to freeze the subject. And you're going to be aware of those 3 F's every time you get behind the camera. And I promise you, the person on the other side of that lens, they're going to love you for it. They're going to love that they can watch it and it's consistent and it isn't a distraction, because nobody likes a distraction. You don't want to be distracted. I don't want to be distracted. And the guy on the other side of the lens doesn't want to be distracted. They simply want to see and hear what the subject is saying and doing. So together, we can do this. Thank you for watching. Thank you for volunteering. Thank you for being a part. And mostly, thank you for serving and serving with excellence. Bless you today.